So here's the setup. First thing I did using the lift is I got the car perfectly level, longitudinally and laterally. So I've got level on the sill, level across the sills, and I put in cross beams, temporary cross beams, and marked them dead center at the bottom of the B pillar, the bottom of the A pillar, and I've got the center marked on both of those, as well as center marked on this cross strut brace at the shock towers, and also another temporary beam in here with center marked and a board transferring that up. So all these lines, oh, and I've got my laser level. So this is about the vertical position. So I will turn the lights off now and show the results so far. So it's going to be a little bit hard to see, but I'll try to point everything out. So right away, it's covered by the laser line, but I've got a pencil mark here, and the laser hits that pencil mark exactly. And then it hits the mark, you see it there, exactly on that strut top brace. And then it comes up here, and again, hard to see, it hits that center mark on the base of the A pillars. And then it comes back here and hits that mark on the center of the B pillar. And then coming back here, I've got a piece of tape, and it hits this mark on the center of the window, the rear window. So I have concluded that the forward 3/4 of the car are straight in line. So what I'll do now is I will move that laser level back and set it up back here and do the same thing and line up those same lines and check how, if anything's out back here near the engine mounts and the rear subframe. Okay, now with the laser lined up from the rear, I've got the same marks connected. See if that shows up. There's that front mark. There's the base of the A pillar. And it's hard to see here, but I'll show it from the back. It hits that roll bar, but you can see that it's just touching. It's just touching that square. So that one does line up. It's just being blocked by the roll bar. And then this one also lines up with the mark that I made from the front. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different reference points that line up from the front and the rear. So the question I've always had with this car, because I know for a fact that it had a crash in the back right corner, the back passenger side. So I've always expected that side to be, that's where it took an impact. This is 25 years ago. But since I'm doing a very detailed restoration, I want to resolve all of this. So if you look at the center of the fan bolt, I don't know if that engine is designed to be dead center. But if you look at that fan bolt, you know it's off by, what is that? That's like 1/8 of an inch. So that would make sense if that fan is supposed to be dead center on the engine. So now what I'm going to do is, you can't see it in the light, with the lack of light, but I'm going to, doesn't work without light. I'm going to measure the distance to those engine mounts, because those are indeed, I know those to be symmetric. I mean, the car was built with those being symmetric because they're a reference point when you look at the drawings and the dimensions. So I'm going to pull an offset to those and see. So I'm not going to take this as seriously because it's more important, because I don't know if this is really centered by design, but I know those engine mounts are. That's next. So I cut a piece of wood that fits in here, and I decided to go to the outside bolt on the motor mount, because the center of the motor mount is a rubber insulator, so it's possible it could move. That bolt is a better reference to the frame instead of the center of the motor mount. And this other side, I went to the outside bolt, get some light, and I transferred that line up to here. So you see a little mark here, and you see a mark there. And this is the center where the laser is. I don't know if that'll show up. You see that laser. So I'm going to measure these two measurements and see if they are equal. They should be equal. All right, so I took my tape measure and measured, like I talked about, from that outer bolt to the center to this outer bolt. And this back section appears to me to be a 1/2 inch over. And that makes sense if in 1990 there was a crash back here that wasn't completely straightened the way it should be. So I've always planned, and I'm in the queue with a Porsche frame shop to do a little tweak on this frame to pull this back about a 1/2 inch. It might even be less than a 1/2 inch. It might be 3/8. But this is my time to do it, to make this car perfect. So that's well within the yield strength of the steel. So that's not an issue. There's no broken or cracked metal. It's just moved a little bit. So I'm going to have I always expected this. I'm going to have a little pull done to the frame and straighten this out on the jig, on the frame bench, and make it perfect when I put it back together. I also want to get all this documented. I also checked, I suspected that the damage from this corner pushed this back over a little bit and up, but I want to confirm that. So this level also has horizontal. So I went in and I used the tape measure and I took a measurement there. I don't know if it'll show up on you see the laser hitting the tape measure. So bottom line is I measured these two sides, and it appears that this corner is up 1/4 inch. So it's, what did I say? It's over a 1/2, up 1/4. So that's what needs to get resolved. All that can get aligned out down at the wheels. So for however long it's been, 35 years, it hasn't mattered, but now it matters to me. So I'm going to bring that rough information to my frame shop that has all the correct jigs, and we will make that improvement. And then when I put the car back together, I'll feel excellent about it.